Before we do sample processing for COD, we need to turn on the digester. First, connect the power cord of the instrument. There is a power interface on the right side of the instrument, and there is a power switch beside it. After connecting to the power supply, turn on the switch. The digestion temperature of our digestion instrument is 165 degrees Celsius, and the digestion time is 15 minutes. This is preset and does not need to be changed. Processing the sample. COD is divided into 3 ranges: low, middle and high. The low range is 5 to 200 mg per liter, the middle range is 100 to 1000 mg per liter, and the high range is 1200 to 2000 mg per liter. Make a low-scale and a mid-scale sample. First, make a low-range sample. A set of samples includes 2 colorimetric tubes. One is a blank colorimetric tube, and the other is a colorimetric tube with a sample. Use a pipette to take 2 ml of distilled water and put it into the colorimetric tube. Let stand for 30 seconds to allow the liquid to flow into the colorimetric tube as much as possible. Then use a pipette to take 2 ml of COD sample and put it into another empty colorimetric tube for use. The method of making medium and high range samples is the same. First, take 2 ml of distilled water and put it into a colorimetric tube. And then take 2 ml of the medium range sample and put it into another colorimetric tube for use. After pipetting is completed, oxidant needs to be added. Add 5 to 200 mg per liter oxidant to the low-range sample, and use a 1 ml pipette to add 1 ml of oxidant to the 2 colorimetric tubes of the low-range sample respectively. Spare. For medium and high-range samples, 200 to 2000 mg per liter of oxidant needs to be added. First, replace the tip of the pipette, and then add 1 ml of oxidant to the 2 colorimetric tubes of medium and high-range samples respectively. Spare. Next, the composite catalyst needs to be added. The catalyst is universal. Use a 5 ml pipette to add 4 ml of composite catalyst to each of the 4 colorimetric tubes. Then tighten the cap of the cuvette and shake the cuvette to make the sample even. Sample processing is complete. Confirm that the temperature of the digester reaches 165 degrees Celsius. Take off the lid, put in the colorimetric tube. Close the lid and press the start button. At this time, the temperature on the left will display the value on the screen because the addition of the colorimetric tube will start to decrease. At the same time, the instrument will continue to heat up. When the temperature of the screen returns to 165 degrees Celsius, the time on the right shows the screen value and starts to count down. When the value returns to 0, the digester will sound an alarm. At this time, you can remove the cover of the instrument and take out the colorimetric tube. Place it on the table and let it cool down for 2 minutes. You can choose to turn off the instrument if you do not continue to use it. After 2 minutes, the beaker can be filled with cold water, and the colorimetric tube can be placed in the beaker to cool down. During the cooling process, try to prevent the colorimetric tube from shaking. After the sample is cooled, dry the water on the outer wall of the colorimetric tube and put it in the tube rack. You can observe whether the colorimetric tube is completely precipitated by the light of the mobile phone. If it is still turbid, you can let the sample colorimetric tube completely settle by standing still. Now start to test COD samples. This is the instrument for COD sample measurement. Press and hold the power button to turn on the machine, select the program, and confirm. The instrument shows that COD has 3 ranges, namely 200, 1000, 2000. We first test the 5 to 200 option, select the COD 200 option, confirm. Select the blank measurement, prepare a completely precipitated blank colorimetric tube. Use the black line of the colorimetric tube to align the instrument at the number 1 position and put it in, and wait for the instrument value to stabilize, then click the confirm button. Select the sample measurement. Take out the blank colorimetric tube. Put it in the sample colorimetric tube. Also point the black line at the number 1 position of the instrument. The instrument screen displays 198.1 mg per liter, which is the low-range COD concentration value. Then measure the COD mid-range sample. First return to the main interface. Select the COD 1000 option. Select the blank measurement. The black line is aligned with the number 2 position of the instrument. And confirm after stabilization. Select the sample measurement. The same sample black line is aligned with the number 2 position. The instrument screen displays the concentration value as 1020 mg per liter.